The world of fashion, a glamorous portrayal of runway shows, after parties, mingling with socialites, and fame. A large reason that draws people to become a part of this beautifully painted world. On the other hand, fashion is also viewed as a complete waste of time, full of superficial children ready to throw tantrums when things don't go their way. But let's set the record straight. For those just entering this group, there is much to learn about the culture, the realities of a fashion designer, and the reasons why individuals yearn to become a part of this group.
As a designer, it's about late nights. It's about working so hard for that 1 minute on the runway.
According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the word fashion means the action or process of making. As a fashion designer, I have learned that the perception on us is misconstrued to extremes. The path of a fashion designer is either thought of as a glamorous road where fashion students prepare for exciting fashion shows full of experts willing to help them grow and succeed, or a complete waste of an art form. These ideas of the culture of fashion designers are caused by the poor portrayal in the media that hides the realities of individuals in this group. Through personal experience as well as the experience of others in my group, fashion designers can be defined as hard-working individuals with a passion to learn, make, and perfect their craft. As a member of this group, I have learned that the fashion industry is anything but glamorous. Being a student as well as an emerging fashion designer, I have found it very difficult to juggle academic curriculum and my passion to make clothes and participate in fashion shows around the area. This semester, I have been preparing for Charleston Fashion Week, and through this experience, I have learned the sad realities of this world that often push and pull me back into this group. I have learned that a fashion show is an entire year's worth of work condensed into 3 minutes of skinny models walking up and down a catwalk. I have learned that a fashion designer is not a 9-to-5, it is 24/7. On my collection this semester, I worked 6 hours during studio class and continue to work until 4 or 5 in the morning, then go home and wake up at 7 to start the day all over again. I have also learned that collections are expensive to make, and as a student designer, you have to get creative in the ways you come up with funds, and you have to make decisions on what fabrics are realistic to purchase. A study conducted by British Fashion Design by Angela McRobbie, a professor of communications at Goldsmith College, University of London, helps to shed some light about the working lives and careers of this group through interviews of students who have recently graduated from this field. After graduation, designers have the choice of working under another larger designer or working for themselves. They often juggle both jobs to help fund their desires of opening their own label. It can be a quite tricky business. You have to jump through hoops to get connected with the right people, working high-demanding and low-paying jobs to get linked with these people, and to gain capital just to start your own label that may or may not survive depending on how it is perceived by the market. Oftentimes, these emerging designer graduates become victims to exploitation because, as new designers, we are naive to what big businesses are capable of doing to us. We are hungry for experience and exposure and are willing to work for any major brand, thinking it will be a large stepping stone to get us into our ultimate goal. Laura Tripp, an undergraduate in the College of Design and an emerging fashion designer, describes her realities of this group.
I would like to say that a fashion show is 3 minutes of an entirely long, drawn-out, completely unglamorous process. So the runway, yes, it's glamorous, but the reality of it is I'm eating McDonald's right now and wondering, what I'm going to get to go home and go to sleep. So it's not all glamour, definitely. And I think that, when you read about fashion in magazines, you think the life of a designer is so glamorous all the time, but it's not.
There is a great debate between art and fashion, and where fashion exactly fits in the realm of the art world. Fashion is criticized as having little lasting value in high culture. According to Amy Splendor of the New York Times, of all the arts, fashion can be the most purely decorative, blatantly commercial, and pathetically vapid. Angela McRobbie, a British fashion design, argues that these two worlds are becoming one and the same. Designers such as Hussein Chainlin and Vivienne Westwood both consider themselves less as a fashion designer and more as an artist, using clothes, fashion, and textiles as their medium. With Chainlin's collections, he is more concerned with drawing the attention towards the material processes of garment construction. The same goes for Vivienne Westwood. Fine art and literature inspire the creation of her garments through her historical references to classical paintings and costumes from centuries past. Art is used as a source of legitimation for this group. Designers use art as a means to explain themselves and their work to the public. The relationship between fashion design and fashion media is unbelievably skewed by the professional codes of journalism that dictate the way fashion is packaged and presented. These codes that we spoke about dictate the way fashion design is portrayed to the world. On one hand, you see these glamorous photographs and uplifting words about the pure genius of various designers. On the other extreme, you witness a narrow, closed-minded view that triggers a counter-reaction similar to that expressed by the wake of Versace's death in The Guardian. In The Guardian, a journalist wrote, "Why all the bother, skeptics ask, over a preening victim of fashion who belongs to the fashion press, not to the Fleet Street?" This sort of lashing out on the industry is primarily caused by a lack of security and confidence in fashion journalism. Unlike other fields of specialized journalism, whose advertising is linked to the amount of revenue they produce, fashion journalism does not dictate whether a garment will increase or decrease sales. Unfortunately for us designers, the power is tilted in favor of the fashion media. Regular spectators of fashion don't really get the opportunity to see what goes on behind this media portrayal. After learning the truth about this group, you may be wondering why people bother to join this fickle and unhappy world. I am a fashion designer because I am passionate about the history and the craft of tailoring that has shaped the awe and wonder behind fashion design. I enjoy the process of producing articles of clothing, and I have had the opportunity to meet kind professionals who share the same passion with craft as I do. These are the people that keep me motivated to spend long nights in studio and work towards my ultimate goal of owning a fashion label. This world is a fickle place, and it is probably not going to change for a while. Despite the unavoidable truth of the world, I choose to be a part of this group and create my own path, steering clear of all the negativity that comes along with the membership package.